Oh, hey guys. I know that you're doing a show right now, or maybe you're done, or maybe you haven't done it yet, but I can't be there right now in person. I still want to give my opinion of the E3 stuff, and I know this is going to be the most awkward way to do it, but it's something, right? So I'm just going to go through in chronological order from first press conference to last press conference. I'm only going to hit the stuff that I want to talk about. Otherwise, it's going to be like a 2-hour video, and I'm sure you guys ain't got no time for that. So let's begin, shall we? So obviously EA was first, and from what I understand, they talked about Star Wars a lot. Which, yeah, they're going to talk about Star Wars a lot. You know why? Because it's their biggest moneymaker that they have coming out this year. It's what everyone knows, even people who don't play video games, and it's what everyone wants to see. They want to see Star Wars Battlefront 2, because Battlefront was so disappointing that if they come out with their best foot forward and announce all these cool stuff like no paid DLC and we're getting it right this time, and it does look pretty sweet, of course they're going to spend the majority of their show about it. Why the heck wouldn't they? Besides that, while we did see a couple of cool new things, Anthem looks really neat. It's from BioWare, so while they were kind of screwing up Mass Effect Andromeda, looks like their A-Team was making this because it does look fantastic. And then A Way Out seems interesting as well because I like co-op, and this seems like doesn't even seem like it is a co-op game. Not only that, it's made by the people who made Brothers, A Tale of Two Sons, which I'm sure neither of you guys have played, but it was a really intriguing and kind of emotional game. A lot of good puzzle solving stuff, a lot of story told without any dialogue. So I'm interested in seeing what A Way Out has to do. And that's really all I got to say about EA, because that's really all they did. So Microsoft was up next, and they finally revealed Project Scorpio, which is called the Xbox One X, or if you put it into abbreviation, it's called the Xbox. It's not the best name, I think, but it's super expensive. It's $500, which is a really steep price to pay for a very powerful Xbox, to be sure. To a console gamer, that's a lot to pay for, especially if you already have an Xbox One. Its added power and virtual reality compatibility doesn't seem to be enough to justify that price, but hopefully it'll come down in the coming months. Hopefully there'll be a really good holiday sale. Speaking of all that power, what's the one thing that you guys wanted with all that Xbox One X power? If you want to play old Xbox games, we got you, fam. Microsoft announced backwards compatibility all the way to the OG Xbox, which I guess is great. It's a good idea for like a Hearts and Minds PR campaign, but at the same time, who cares? Yeah, a lot of people are gonna have their old games that they've talked about wanting to play, but at least in my experience, you actually don't want to play those games. You want to relive the memories you have of playing those games, but most of the stuff when you go back, it's not as good as it used to be. And I think this is the only thing they can do to compete with Sony, because Sony's charging you to play old games and hoping that it works, whereas Microsoft is just saying, if you have the disc, put it in, and we'll launch an in-house closed system emulator to run this game, and then you can remember why you play modern games, because what even is on the original Xbox that you want to play besides like Halo? Sea of Thieves and Metro Exodus looked really neat. Sea of Thieves I'm curious about, but it doesn't seem like something I'll be playing much of, so there's that. Not a lot of first party stuff at Microsoft. Oh, but they did have the Minecraft 4K, which is a weird thing to have Minecraft spit out in, but Minecraft is now going to be cross compatible with PC, Xbox One X, the 360, the Switch, like portable or mobile. basically every platform that Minecraft is on, you can now sync your Xbox Live account, except on PlayStation, which is cool because now Microsoft and Nintendo are starting to talk. But people are saying, oh, why didn't Sony get on this? Why can't we have cross-platform play? Because Sony is in the lead right now as far as sales goes. There's more people that are playing PS4 than there are Xbox One. And you are required to have an Xbox Live account to sync up across all these platforms. Now, why on earth would Sony, who has their own online system, want you to sign in with an Xbox Live account? That doesn't make any sense for them. It doesn't help them out at all. Nintendo Switch, yeah, you have an online profile, but it's really bare bones and nobody really knows what you're getting out of it. Whereas PlayStation or Sony has a very clear goal of what they want with PlayStation Plus. You're getting you're playing on PlayStation consoles you're getting PlayStation games for free, and to tell their biggest competitor, yeah, your players can sign in on our system and use our competitors' online services seems not a good idea. Besides that, if you play Minecraft on the Switch with someone on the Xbox One, are you gonna have to pay Xbox Live Gold, or is it just gonna be a free service? I haven't seen anything about that, but I think that's where people are gonna turn on Microsoft because, yeah, cross-platform play is cool, but not if you have to pay. But that's only my thoughts. And then we get to Bethesda, which has been the biggest topic since E3, at least from what I've seen, because everyone hates them again, and it's only going to be a couple years until everyone loves them again. So they announced a couple of VR stuff, Fallout 4 and Doom in VR, whatever, that's fine. It's good to see a AAA developer actually taking interest in virtual reality for once, rather than just everything indie. They announced a new Wolfenstein, which looks good. I haven't played the first one, or I'm probably not going to play this one, but everyone loved the first one, and it looks like a lot of people love this one as well. Well, as much as I could find anything positive about Bethesda. Their two biggest points of controversy, though, were the Creation Club and Skyrim on Switch. So let's talk about those a little bit. So the Creation Club, for anyone that doesn't know, is going to be a service that Bethesda offers to certain mod creators to work with Bethesda themselves to make sure that the mods that are being made work across all versions of their games, work with any updates that they're going to put out, and from what I can tell, just get the modders' foot in the door when working in the games industry, as well as compensating them for their work. That seems to be the worst decision that they could have made, because the thought of giving modders compensation for their work is a dastardly thing. Look, I know that's a little bit of a straw man, but let me explain. So the Creation Club, right? It's going to charge credits for mods, which will probably be some kind of weird conversion with real money. And so it's terrible, right? Why can't the players just donate to the mod makers themselves? All right, that sounds good. How many mod makers do you know that are able to make even a pittance off of donations? Go on, I'll wait. The answer is not much. Sure, a modder will get recognition, maybe even fame for making something really cool, for making a expansive world or a brand new add-on piece of content that could count as a DLC for free, and their name will be circulated among them. But when it comes to donations, are they going to make anything off it? Probably. I'm sure the person who's making Oblivion in Skyrim has made maybe a couple thousand off of donations. A couple thousand doesn't really feed anyone, though. So for Bethesda, they're looking at this and saying, we want to have these awesome mods actually work and not have the player worry about if this mod is going to crash with this mod, and is this going to cause like a gameplay bug or a save crash, or is this going to melt your system, or blah blah blah. No, they want it to work, and then they want to pay the modder for their work. So not only does the modder get legitimately paid through what they make, they get to talk with Bethesda directly. Their mod doesn't kill anyone's system, And how awesome does it look on a resume for a modder to say, yeah, I worked with a AAA developer to develop content for an existing game? I can't see why everyone is so mad about this, because the biggest thing that everyone is worried about is that, oh, this is it. This is the end of free mods as we know it, but it's not. Nexus is still going to be up. People are still going to be on there putting out free mods, putting out your nudie mods or whatever you want. And the only people who are going to take advantage of this system are going to be the people who would have taken advantage of it regardless. They would have taken advantage of any system. There's going to be modders who will put mods only on the paid system, the Creation Club. Just don't buy it. Like, how simple is that? Just don't buy the mod. And there you go. Problem solved. I don't see why this is such a huge deal, but the internet heard that they might have to pay for something, and we hate that. We hate paying for things. I'm going to pirate everything now because I have to pay perhaps a little bit of money to someone who worked super hard and long hours on this piece of add-on content that I appreciate and I like. I'm not saying that there's no issues about the Creation Club. There are issues. So, how are they going to pick which modders they work with, which modders they don't? What's the payment going to be like? What does this mean about console mods? But the idea that Bethesda is going to work directly with modders to get them paid and make sure their mods work is a good idea. Why the heck would it not be? And then the other flash in the pan that started this whole forest fire at Bethesda's conference was Skyrim being announced and released on the Switch. Suddenly, everyone on the internet just decided that they hate Skyrim now. The fact that it was, or still is, one of the most played games of all time, winner of numerous Games of the Year awards, and re-released with a all DLC included package, everyone just decided to turn around and say, no, we hate Skyrim. It's the worst. It is the bane of video game existence. All because they got ported. Why? So now people that aren't you and aren't me get a chance to play Skyrim that never had a chance before. And suddenly that's a sin? That's a bad thing? That's the worst thing that people can now play Skyrim? It's not like they're Okay, so let's back up a little bit. Here is what the opposition is saying. It's a 6-year-old game. 5 to 6-year-old game. So why are they making it for current gen? The other point is that they've been re-releasing it for the entirety of those 6 years. And finally, it's preventing them from making new stuff. All right, point number 1. It's a 5-6-year-old game. Why are they making it for new systems? Because they're a business, and they want to make money, and they know Skyrim is going to sell. For some reason, when Resident Evil 4 gets ported to literally everything except handhelds, no one really cared. And that is 13 years old at this point, probably even older. Skyrim gets ported once to a system, and all of a sudden it's the worst thing ever. They're milking it for all it's worth, which goes in line with my second point. They keep re-releasing it on systems. They've released it twice, okay? That's the weirdest, most backwards argument I've heard. They released Elder Scrolls V Skyrim, and then they released Elder Scrolls V Skyrim Legendary Edition. There's 2 editions of that game floating around. That's it. The Witcher does a Game of the Year edition. Fallout 3 did Game of the Year. New Vegas has a Game of the Year. Sleepy Dogs has a Game of the Year. Most games that have a DLC or a season pass will re-release a couple of years later as a Game of the Year edition, because it's not just an HD upgrade. It has all the DLC included for one price. Why Bethesda is doing that makes it suddenly irredeemable is beyond me. It doesn't make any sense. They're just porting it to another system, guys. It's not like they have been releasing it yearly since 2011. This is basically if they had released it in 2011 on the Xbox, PC, PS3, and Wii. That's exactly what this is. They're porting it. They're trying to get it in as many people's hands as possible. And the internet does not want that to happen, apparently. You guys don't want that to happen, apparently. I don't know why. I don't know why people who aren't you playing Skyrim, spending their own money to play Skyrim, regardless of whether they've played it before or not, offends you in such a way. Which brings me to my third point, because of that immediate counterpoint. Oh, it's taking away from whatever they're working on next. Except they're still making stuff. Since Skyrim, they've made Dishonored, they've made Doom, Wolfenstein, now Wolfenstein 2, and Fallout 4, and now Elder Scrolls Online, which apparently is picking up steam. I don't know if that's actually true or not, but taking away the sequel for Wolfenstein, that's 5 games that they've made since Skyrim. But no, because they're working so hard on porting Skyrim to the Switch, trying to just sell you the same thing over and over and over again, which apparently they're obviously not, then clearly they're out of ideas and Skyrim's their only thing that they can sell. You are ignoring their entire catalog to make an argument, and that does not look good. It just doesn't. It's not. It just brings me back to my one point, is that people that aren't you are going to spend money on Skyrim, and apparently that's wrong. I don't understand why. People that have not played Skyrim, or maybe they have and they want to play it on a more mobile device, that's cool. You can't do that anywhere else. Skyrim is not on iOS yet. So this is really the only way to play Skyrim on the go. And it's going to have all the DLC included. It's going to have that Link amiibo support, which is weird, but sure, whatever. So why not? Why not have Skyrim on the Switch? Oh, because it's keeping them from making other games? Not true. Objectively not true. Because they keep re-releasing the same thing, hoping you buy it over and over and over again. They've released it twice on every system they have. Once on the Switch, because it's already got the Legendary Edition. I just don't get it. I don't know why people are against this. They're porting it. It's a port. It's like if a game came out on multiple systems and people are complaining, well, why are they re-releasing it on another system? You know, why is Final Fantasy 15 on PS4 and Xbox One? Because developers want their games to be in as many hands as possible, to sell as many copies as possible. But Bethesda's the only one that's taken heat for this. I don't get it. But that's Bethesda's conference. And then we had Ubisoft. Ubisoft, the biggest thing was the long-awaited Beyond Good and Evil 2, which I didn't even know was Beyond Good and Evil 2 at first, because they had changed it. It's a prequel, so I guess that explains the different looks. But a lot of people love Beyond Good and Evil, and I'm excited that they brought it in. But that's not the main thing that I want to talk about. Is Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle was the first game that I saw that made me want to buy a Switch, because it is XCOM Mario. There's something that's so in my head. We have XCOM over here and then Mario over here. There's absolutely no way that they should meet, and yet they met somehow. And I want to see what that looks like. And the gameplay they showed looked fantastic. Obviously, it's a vertical slice, so we don't know how it's all gonna play out for real. But it had grid movement, it had cover system, it had a skill tree, and I'm excited for it. I am legitimately excited for it, and to see the creative director in tears because Miyamoto was happy with what he was seeing was really touching, because a lot of people say that this year's E3 was not that good, to which I disagree, because of moments like that, of moments where you can just see that the long hours and the dedication just came from a place of not just trying to pay the bills, not just releasing what they know will sell. It came from a place of passion. There are still people in this industry, regardless of how long they've been there, that are still super passionate about making video games. And to see everyone be so cynical about what's going on, about, oh, this was the worst E3, they didn't announce anything new, the stuff they announced is boring, blah, blah, blah. To hear that is like, where did your passion go? Why don't you get excited like Miyamoto does when he sees a new Mario game that has never before been made or even thought about? Like, the guy loves video games, and that's why some of these people make video games, because they're fun and they're cool. And Mario and Rabbids Kingdom, what is it? Kingdom Battle it kind of exemplifies that. You know? It's two franchises that have no business interacting for the sake of fun and passion. And that the creative director, he wants to make it work. But people are just pooping all over everything, and it's disheartening at the best. It's disheartening at best. There's never been a more diverse time to play video games, and yet people still aren't satisfied, and it's sad. It really is. That was a little bit of a tangent. Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle might make me buy a Switch. I don't know. Skull and Bones. Alex, you said that this was the year of pirates, and that seems to be pretty accurate. So I'm sure you guys have a lot more to say about that, but I want to talk about Far Cry 5. See, Far Cry 5, I played Far Cry 3, and then that was my fill. I saw 4 and Primal, and they looked okay, but it was just more Far Cry, and I was like, you know what, I'm done with Far Cry for now, I'll put it down. Far Cry 5 comes out, and it looks very American Christian cults, which it excites me because people are kind of afraid to take on, like, Christianity mythos. And I myself am a Christian, so, like, I believe all that hunky-dory about a man in the sky and Jesus loving you and all that. But I still want to see people challenge that. I still want to see people go against that and see what their thoughts are about what if Christianity, or what if this sect of Christianity was just a creepy murder cult, or whatever this is gonna end up being. So Far Cry 5 has pulled me in a little bit, and I hope they don't just have the main villain be a Voss ripoff, where, you know, he's eccentric and he's ranting and raving because he's insane, but he's actually really smart on the inside. I'm sure it'll be like that because it is Far Cry, but I'm excited. But that's not the biggest thing. The biggest thing, and I don't know if you guys saw this, the biggest thing is they announced a new character for Far Cry 5. Are you ready for this? His name is Boomer. He's a dog. You can have a dog companion in Far Cry 5. How cool is that? That dog will be by my side that entire game. And you know what's even better? Look him up right now if you haven't seen him. He's a pointer. He looks like my dog, which my dog's sleeping right now, so I'm not going to wake him up. But Boomer looks exactly like my dog, so I immediately fell in love. And that's another reason why Far Cry 5 pulled me in. But that was it for Ubisoft. I apologize again for the tangent, but, you know, be excited about video games. Whether they're good or not, or whether you're excited for them or not, is a different conversation entirely. But the fact that they're still happening, and the fact that you can have a game about Mario and Rabbids teaming up to fight other Rabbids in a XCOM style game, or have, you know, a cooperative jailbreak game, or you can have Beyond Good and Evil 2. Like, video games are the best they've ever been. And for people to not be excited about that, for people to say that's not good enough, is frustrating. But moving on. So Sony, I believe, was up next. They had not a lot of people talking. I don't think anybody talked really during that show. It was just a bunch of trailers. But they had the Uncharted prequel with Chloe and whatever. I mean, Uncharted 4 was it for me. So I understand that they want to keep making Uncharted games, but those are two characters I just didn't really click with. So it's going to be an Uncharted game. I'm sure it's going to be actually pretty great, but it didn't grab me in the way that the Uncharted games have. Then they showed more Days Gone, which I thought was Tomb Raider at first because it looked super similar, but that looked like a pretty okay survival game. The zombie horde stuff is very interesting. I hope they don't just limit that to scripted sequences. But the big thing, Monster Hunter World Did you see that? They're wearing ghillie suits. It's a Monster Hunter in HD. It's a brand new Monster Hunter game. It's not just a port from the West or from the East, from Japan. And I think, here's my theory, I think Monster Hunter World, they're calling it that because they're going to want cross-platform play, which it's Capcom, so they can do that third-party thing. But thinking back on the Minecraft thing, I don't know. We'll see. But it's going to come out on PS4 first, and then Xbox One, and then PC way later, which is super awesome. I can't believe that I will finally be able to play Monster Hunter on my PC. It might be a game I buy twice. I don't know. We'll find out. But it does look a lot more inviting than the past Monster Hunters have seemed. I could be completely wrong because it didn't show much in terms of actual gameplay. It just showed very cinematic moments, which Monster Hunter does well, and then you play the game and it's a little bit not like that. So the big things that they showed here was there was no more segmented maps, which is a little bit sad to see that going because that was an easy way to communicate where a monster was. But I understand how they got a lot of horsepower behind this one now. So, hey, use it, right? It is going to be a worldwide release in 2018, which makes me think that it's going to be a cross-platform type of thing. Hopefully it's free to play online, not like Frontier in Japan where you have to pay a subscription to play it. But Monster Hunter on PS4, I'm super excited for it. I actually already did pre-order it, so I just got to wait. Shadow of the Colossus is being remade. I love Shadow of the Colossus. It's one of my favorite games of all time, easily in the top 5. I don't know how I felt about the HD remaster. It looks great and it looks like it plays well, but that's going to be a really hard game to sell to someone who never played it before. There are long stretches of that game where you just are going from point A to point B. And the map was never that easy to read. Yet at the same time, when you did get to that boss, to the Colossus that you had to fight, it was fun. It was different every time. Everything was a puzzle. You had to manage your stamina and where you were climbing and grabbing on. Plus, it was just a very heartwarming game. And it came out at the right time for me. I will probably end up buying it. But I really hope it does well because Japan Studio is a very weird studio that needs to still exist in this day and age because they don't make games like anyone else makes games. And we had VR stuff, which was whatever. Final Fantasy 15 fishing, yay. God of War stuff, which everyone's saying it looks really cool and it looks really neat. It looks like more God of War to me. I hope it's a little bit different. I like the idea of Kratos attacking different mythologies now, not just Greek. So that would be pretty sweet. But we'll see. We'll see how it turns out because the trailer just showed it to be like God of War, except instead of blades, twin blades, he has an axe. And instead of the camera being in a fixed location, it's just behind his back. Still looks super violent. Kratos was still angry, so we'll see how that goes. I haven't played one since 3, and honestly, if I never play one again, I'd be fine with that. But I hope they do well. Spider-Man game looked amazing. I have not played a Spider-Man game since the movie game on the PS2. And this one seems like it's getting Spider-Man right finally. He's super agile. He's super mobile. His fighting is just all over the place. And he's very flashy with his moves and his web moves. And it looks really sweet. The web slinging and swinging is physics-based. And it does latch onto buildings. So that's going to be really sweet to play around with. I hope it controls as well as they showed it in the trailer. That's all I wish. And then I guess since everyone was so cynical about the rest of E3, Nintendo just kind of stole the show because they did what Nintendo does. They make good first party games. Mario Odyssey and Cappy is cool. I'm glad because Galaxy was alright, but I liked Sunshine and 64 more, and Super Mario Odyssey seems to be a return to those two games rather than Galaxy. There's gonna be a Pokemon RPG. That's cool. It's probably just gonna be some Sun and Moon tie-in if I had to guess, or maybe something different. I don't know. There's gonna be a Kirby game, and that's awesome because Kirby's great. What else was there? Xenoblade, Chronicles 2, Splatoon 2 coming this summer. And then they finally, after like a decade of just not mentioning it at all and then releasing Federation Force, Metroid is finally back in the limelight with Metroid Prime 4 and Metroid Samus Returns. It's about time that Metroid came back. I think this is why they shut down another Metroid 2 remake, because they were working on something of their own. I'm glad Metroid is back again. They definitely took their sweet time with it. So that's mostly everything I wanted to talk about. I'll edit this video down, try to keep it as short as I can for you guys. I'm sure you're yelling at me through the computer screen. I can't hear you though, but I'll be watching. Hi to everyone out there in Twitch land. All right, I'm gonna let you guys continue the show. So this has been popular Twitch streamer like a sir, throwing it over to you guys. Bye.